I tell people my goal was to be a commercial airline pilot with twin boys and a girl. That was just my dream since I was a little kid. I don't know why. I mean, I liked airplanes. So through high school, through college, I can honestly say I never even considered priesthood. Certainly didn't in high school. And even in college, it wasn't until my junior year abroad. I was an exchange student at the University of London, and there was a man there from University of Southern California who already knew he felt called to priesthood. And so Robert would ask me a couple times during our junior year together over in London, hey, have you ever thought about being a priest? And I said, no, I'm not thinking about being a priest. I'm going to be a commercial airline pilot, and I want to get married and have my twin boys and a girl. So he would send vocations literature for years afterwards, and I just threw it away because that's not what I was going to do. As I got into my late 20s, that's still where my focus was. I had joined the military by then, but I had more and more people asking me about it and saying, I just think you would make a good priest. And I went, well, thank you, but that's not what I want. And at a point, you either realize when you start to ask this more serious questions in life, not what do I want, but what might God want for me? When I look at my life, dating relationships, family relationships, people who I trusted, their judgment and their wisdom, all seem to point me towards considering that call. And so I began to be more open to that. It's humbling when a woman you date thinks that you should be a priest, right? And so I'm thinking, what's going on here? And so finally I thought, okay, I can't discern this call and be full-time active military as well. And so I left my career as an intelligence officer in the Air Force, went into the reserves. I had promised a Jesuit priest that I would do a retreat for vocations down in Arizona. I thought, well, I'll just see where this goes. At the retreat, like Gary had said, you seem a little bit down. What's wrong? And I said, nothing. He said, okay, doesn't look like nothing. I said, well, I've always felt I would be married and that I would be a good father, a loving husband, and a good dad. And I said, I just feel saddened that maybe that's not what God's asking of me. And he said, he looked back, and I always remember his words. He said, well, if I met a man who didn't feel he'd be a good father, a loving husband, and a good dad, I would never encourage him to be a priest because you need the same qualities. So if there's any sort of milestone moments in my vocation discernment, that was one of them where I thought, wow, I've never looked at it that way before. And went on through seminary, and by grace of God was ordained 7 years later. So my story is a bit different than a lot of men. Some people know they're called to be a priesthood since the second grade. It's not me. I'm the rock that needed a lot of water to wash over it over a long time.